This is a quick little story about how I went from my first car to my dream car, and at the end I'll tell you my secret about how I did it. My first car was a 1980 Honda Accord hatchback. It wasn't much, but it was mine and I loved her. Now, I've always been a car guy, and I've owned about 40 cars at this point, so I'm not going to go over all of them, just some of my favorites. I drove that little Honda till she didn't have anything left. My next car was a big step up, and bought myself a brand new 1996 Honda Prelude. The Prelude was nice. I wanted something a bit more sporty and traded her in for a car I really loved, a 1992 Nissan 300ZX. Now this car really meant a lot to me. I spent a lot of time, money, and effort making this car show worthy. It reminds me of working in the garage with my old man on a common project we both had a passion for. It was a sad day when I wrecked her, and I'd probably still have her today if I didn't. It was really the only car I had an emotional attachment to. From that point, I've had some cool cars, and I've had some to just get around in. I had a 350Z for a little bit. It was alright, but I really wasn't too impressed with it. But then I got a C4 Corvette, and I was very impressed with that car at the time, and I had to have one. But to be honest, that car was way out of my budget, a maintenance nightmare, and I eventually sold it. Skipping ahead a bit, I was finally in a good spot in my career and making some real money. Growing up, my grandfather drove Cadillacs, and in my eyes, that was a symbol of success and luxury, and I was finally able to buy my first Caddy. From that point, things are going pretty good at work, and I love the Cadillac brand, so I bought two more, an Escalade SUV and truck. It was nice, but when I was opening my first studio, I had to sell them to help fund my business. Now after opening my second studio, I moved down to the city of Atlanta, and the Escalade was way too big for me, and they recently introduced a two-door CTS, which I was in love with, and in my personal opinion, was one of the finest cars in that price range. And I have to say, I really hated getting rid of that one. I absolutely love that CTS. Now I've always wanted a supercar, and I absolutely love the Dodge Viper. And back when I was a kid, about 16 or 17 years old, I went over to a friend's house, Chris Cannon, and his dad had a Dodge Viper, 13th one ever made, Venom package put on it, and he was throwing a party. He went upstairs, grabbed the keys, and he started that thing up, and that whole house was rumbling. When I seen that thing, I was like, wow, I have to have one of these. Now, I never really thought I'd be able to afford one, but I started looking around these days, and I actually could. So, I bought one, and I absolutely loved it, until I started driving. It was a Dodge, and, you know, it wasn't anything to brag about, but it was a super cool car, and the styling of it is probably one of my favorites.
Wow, nice. Oof, the retro chimba.
Now I had the Viper for about a year, and like I said, it was a cool car, but driving wise, you know, it wasn't all that. So I traded her in and I got a 2017 Jaguar FType, and that car was unbelievable. I love the way that thing sounded. It was super cool, super classy, kind of James Bondy, but I'm a short guy, and my biggest gripe with it is I wish I could bring the seats back further. After owning Cadillacs and laying down when I'm driving, sitting so upright was kind of uncomfortable. And if I was a tall guy over 6 feet, I couldn't imagine that car being comfortable for anyone else. Now this next one is absolutely amazing. The power of a Viper, the luxury of a Cadillac. The 2017 Mercedes-Benz AMG GT. Truly a plush car. It had more buttons, dials, and switches than I knew what to do with, and it was truly stunning. Jaw-dropping. Everywhere I went, I was getting compliments on this car. But my biggest gripe about this one, once again, was the seating position. And for a tall individual, I don't imagine someone getting comfortable in a car like this. But other than that, I absolutely loved it. If those seats can go back just a little bit more, I truly recommend this to anyone. Now moving on to my absolute dream car, the 2009 Lamborghini Gallardo LP5502. Now this car is probably one of my fucking favorites. I was gonna go buy a silver one convertible that day, and they told me that they had just got a yellow one in the day before. They brought me downstairs and it was up on the rack. It was yellow with yellow interior, and I was like, that's it, I love it, wrap it up. I had to have this one. Now, growing up, I mean, I think this is probably every boy's dream car, and I remember watching the Cannonball Run. The beginning intro, there's these two girls in a black Lamborghini Countach running from the police. It's a classic scene. I've probably watched this part probably 100 times. If you haven't checked it out, definitely do so. Now this car, I could actually get comfortable in. It has a little shelf in the back so the seats can go back a little further. And I love the way this car drives. The Viper, you knew you were in a Viper. It was a rickety car, whereas this is a much more refined vehicle. And if you didn't know you were in a Lamborghini, you'd just think you were in a regular, very nice car. It does have a few drawbacks. It's a little dated. It doesn't have near as many buttons, dials, and switches as the AMG GT had. But nothing beats the styling. That aggressive look and the triangular shape of a Lamborghini, in my eyes, is the epitome. But you know, everyone has different opinions. most of these cars I made a bit of a profit off, or paid just a little bit to drive them. But this Lamborghini I really just bought for me. I loved it, and you know, I was just happy to have it. I put it up for sale shortly after I bought it for a good bit more than I bought it for, and I figured if someone was willing to pay me that for it, I'd let it go. And unfortunately and fortunately they did. So it was still early in the summer. I didn't want to go all summer without a Lamborghini, so I found another one that I thought I could make a bit of a profit off of, which was a 2013 Lamborghini Gallardo LP5502, which is fucking beautiful. Black on black on black with black calibers. Absolutely stunning car. However, in my personal opinion, I don't really particularly like black. They're super hard to keep clean, and the black wheels, I just feel like you really can't appreciate them with the black. You know, you can't really see them. But people love the black on the black on black, so hopefully I'm going to be able to sell it here soon. Hopefully not too soon, but before I start my travels. Until then, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this one. Now to tell you a little bit about how I was able to go from a Honda Accord to my absolute dream cars, and honestly it's simple. I worked hard and I saved my money, and I moved on from one to the next to a higher car, and anyone could do it if you save your money. Saving your money and working hard is the key. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know this video is a little bit different, but you know, it's part of my life, and I'm going to look back at this one day and enjoy that I made this. Hope you did too. Thanks a lot, guys.